Hello and welcome to another skill of the week. This one is for how to print your Adinkra printmaking. This is for the 6th grade. So we're going to get started. I'm just going to show you a couple of things that you need to do first. We're going to be using the water-soluble block printing ink, and when you choose your color, you'll need to kind of mix it up in the tube first. We want to kind of get that warm. Now, you can't really shake it because it's really thick, and you'll see that when I pour it out. So I just like to manipulate the tube, just pushing it back and forth so that it kind of stirs it up. Now, sometimes it's been sitting for a really long time, so it ends up not stirring it really well, and you end up getting a big blob of water out first, but you just wipe that off with a paper towel, and then you've got the ink below it, so you should be fine. So manipulate this really well. What you're going to need as far as tools go, so I'm going to set this to the side, you're going to need a brayer, and the brayer is the tool that we use that rolls the ink onto your Adinkra symbol. And of course you'll need your Adinkra symbol. Mine is all carved out now, and the part that I want inked is this part right here that stands up off the surface. And that of course was this symbol right here. Okay? And then you'll also need a little inking tray, and that's what inside of that we're going to put our ink, and then we're going to ink. And you'll need a piece of paper of your choice. It's 12 by 18. In the paper cabinet we have all kinds of colors. If you want to choose a specific color, you can. You don't have to choose white. I'm just doing it so that you can see the inking really well. Sorry, there's the school bell. Okay, and then you will also need your table completely covered with newspaper, okay, because you want to protect the table completely. And you're going to kind of set up the station like this. So I'm going to move this like this, okay. You're going to have your tool in the middle, or not your tool, your symbol in the middle, your inking tray and your brayer on the left, and your paper on the right. Okay, and we'll have the ink right here. So here we go. We're going to run a bead of ink, not totally at the top of the inking tray, but down maybe an inch or so. And you want it about as wide as your symbol. Okay, we're going to take the brayer and we're going to pull it down into the center of the tray. And you want to move that ink back and forth. Notice that I'm just kind of pulling it down right now. Okay, and I have to hold the inking tray because it wants to pop up all the time because the ink is fairly thick. Okay, and we want to keep that ink in the center of the inking tray. You don't want to get clear up here because that's wasteful, okay? If you get it clear up into these corners, you're not going to get the ink out of there, and then you're wasting the ink, okay? So as we work the ink, what we're doing is we're warming it up, okay? So as I'm pulling it down, I'm just going to start running it back and forth. Right now, I'm trying to get this so that you can see what I'm doing here. You can't hear much, and you really can't see much happening. What our goal is to get that ink to look like little mountain peaks and sound like it's sticky. Okay, so if you're getting it like this, you can see those little, what looks like little striations, little stripes. It's not the way it needs to be. So we might need to take our scrap paper that we use to draw our symbol on and run some of the ink off. Okay, off of the brayer. So now, if you can see the brayer, I'll give a little light to it here, you can see that quite a bit of the ink has been taken off of it. So I'm going to run it again, and I might even be able to use this. Okay, I can hear it here. All right, I don't know if you can hear this. I'm going to try and get you to hear it now. I'm going to be real quiet. Can you hear that sticky sound? If you can hear the sticky sound, we want the ink sounding sticky, okay? And we want little tiny mountain peaks. So I can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it on your screen, little tiny mountain peaks sitting up on the ink. So that's how we want it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my symbol and I'm going to decide what area I want upright. So if I think about, okay, there's a little piece here that I don't want to get inked. If I think about, I see these three little marks here, looks like a chicken's foot or something. I'm going to keep that in the upper left-hand corner at all times. That way my symbol always gets inked exactly the same way. So I'm going to run my ink on my symbol. Now it looks like I need a little bit more ink, so I'm going to grab it right off of there. I'm going to make sure that it gets all covered, and I might need to grab just a little bit more just to make sure I have enough. Lay your brayer down, not on the brayer part, on the roller part, but upside down, okay? And your symbol should look shiny and glistening. You can see, if I can get it so that it's catching the light here. There we go. I think you can see that it's glistening. Okay, so then I'm going to pull this over here so you can see what I'm doing on the paper. Okay, so I have it upright. Now I'm going to turn it over, and I need to hold on to the part that's not been inked. And I'm going to put it right up in the corner, hold on to it, press it down. And the nice thing about this particular style of lino block is it is really squishy, so it inks pretty easily. Okay, and you want to make sure your entire symbol is pressed down to get all that ink off. And then peel it up very carefully. You might have a partner help you with this, and you can see there's my first symbol. And since we're making Adinkra, we want to print in strips down our paper. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab my ink again. And now it's just the right consistency. It has a sticky sound. I can see little mountain peaks. I'm going to go ahead and roll that with my brayer, seeing that the consistency all across the symbol is even. Make sure it's upright in the position that I want it to be. And I want to put that right close, not overlapping, but not too far away, to my previous symbol. And then press that down. Okay, and then carefully peel it up. And there I've got my next symbol. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and ink that again. And again, notice I'm not turning it because I want to make sure that I have the same symbol upright all the way down. Okay, carefully peel it up. If you get a bunch of ink on your fingers, like I've got a little on my fingers here, you might have to go wash it off, but right now it's dry, so it seems like it's okay. Grab a little more ink. Notice that I'm still keeping it in the center of the tray. I'm not rolling it all over the place. And carefully roll that on my symbol. Pressing it down. This is something that just takes time. If you have a partner, they can hold your paper down for you, because you can see my paper wants to pop up. And as long as your ink is staying sticky and still having those little mountain peaks on them, you're going to be fine. You're not going to have any trouble inking your symbols. If it starts to get dry and you don't hear that sound anymore, that sticky sound, then you're going to need to get some more. Now, I've gotten it down to the bottom, and I don't think, let me lay it like this. Yeah, there's not enough room for another symbol at the bottom. But that's okay because I can leave the bottom for my signature. Okay, now at this point, if I wanted to change colors, I could and ink this down the middle with, let's say, black or red or something like that. I could do that. Or I could continue with the blue and do all blue designs all the way down. Since I have so much blue ink, I would go ahead and use my blue ink. Now, if somebody else is in line and ready to do their inking and they've said, hey, I want to use that blue ink, then you are welcome to change colors and give them the blue ink, and you can just start a whole new color. Okay. Now, I placed that one, if you can see, right in the center top of my page so that I have a nice even symbol all the way across. I don't have them too close. I don't have them too far away. They're placed in a way that it's going to look symmetrical. And I'm continuing to keep them upright, making sure that I don't accidentally flip my design, because otherwise it would not look the same all the way across. I'm still getting sticky ink. I'm still seeing the little mountain peaks, so my ink is still really good to use. Now I'm having to grab from the side where I had a little extra ink because I'm starting to run low and I want to make sure that I get this completely inked. See why we need to have a lot of newspaper? Because every time I lay my brayer down, it puts a batch of ink down. And I want to make sure that I keep everything as clean as possible. Now that one, it looks like I got some ink on my hand, so I'm going to be really careful about laying it in a clean spot when I go to do my inking. And then my last row is going to go up along the side just like I did on this side. Doesn't take a whole lot of ink. You can just go one time and grab enough ink to be able to roll your symbol or roll onto your symbol. Because it's still sticky and it still has little mountain peaks on it. And you can see the little mountain peaks on the symbol as well. So that's great. It's still staying really good. Okay, that one I didn't press quite hard enough there, so I am missing a little bit of ink there. So I need to take a little bit more time and press it a little bit more. That looks pretty good. And I only have 2 symbols left. I should have enough ink to print those. A little ink goes a long way. So you really only need about 1 bead. And if you use your ink properly and you don't get it up into the corners, you're going to have plenty of ink to do your entire page. And last one, and just enough ink to get the last symbol printed. And there we go. All of my symbols are now printed. down in rows. So one right in the center and then a row on each side, fairly close to the edge but not overlapping, and then you have plenty of room to write your name at the bottom. And then on the back, what I would like you to do is draw the symbol, write what it meant, and then write about why you picked that symbol. And that way we understand what character trait you were trying to show that you have. So after you're done with all of this, if there's a lot of dirty newspaper, like I have like 2 whole pieces of newspaper that are in bad shape, I would take all of that, okay, and put my tools over there, and I would just fold it all up together. Okay. Any clean newspapers can stay, but just fold all that together and then throw it in the trash can. Okay, that way you don't get ink on yourself, and you can just grab a couple more pieces of newspaper and fill this out. Then this will go on the drying rack. This will go back with the rest of the inking supplies, and you'll need to wash out the tray and the brayer. And if you want, you can wash this, and it can be a rubber stamper at home for whenever you want to use it, or you can just leave it with the ink on it, let it dry like that, and then you'll have a colored symbol of what you decided to do for your Adinkra. Now, you can see that the ink kind of splatters up onto the handle of the brayer. So when you wash this, you want to make sure you use a sponge and cold water and just wash everything, sides of it and everything. If you don't get the ink off the sides of the brayer, it actually will end up getting inside and can make it so that it won't roll anymore. And just wash everything well, dry it with paper towels, and you're good to go. Thank you.